And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first Arnold Holonet news of 2024, where, of course, it's the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. And with that comes, here at AHN, the first brand new unit of 2024 for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. It's going to be a new ship for Holdo's Radis Resistance Fleet. There was a lot of hype going on in the Discord server, building up a lot of hype and tease. I feel like some people were let down as the first unit of 2024. However, I think I can say safely, we were expecting this to happen at one point or another. Getting Zorri Bliss's ship, the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's going to be the Comeuppance, Zorri Bliss's ship. Here's the amazing artwork that we have drawn up by Meathead, our community manager. I guess the artwork is still pending approval. Here, we'll refresh and see if maybe it's updated since then. No artwork, so we're gonna have no artwork in association with this. If you don't know what it is, I don't blame you. There's not a, let's just say there's not a ton of references. When I look up Come Up in Star Wars, you aren't gonna find much, but if you do remember vaguely, this was her ship that you saw inside of the Rise of Skywalker. It's basically based off this ship, this BTA NR2 Y-Wing Starfighter. And when we do look at all the fleets in Galaxy Heroes, the Resistance fleet is an obvious sore point. You know, the Marauder brought a lot of life into the Galactic Republic fleets. Even Mace Windu is mildly usable. Right now, I can say, the two least used ships are Akbar post Radis World and Radis the Holdo ship as well. Well, this could definitely change it. Now, I want to quickly bullet point a few things that you need to put on your radar regarding the ship. Number one, this is going to be a Galactic Chase starting Friday. And if you don't know what Galactic Chases are, depending on how much energy you spend, that determines how many shards you get. We don't know which energy is going to be used. So stay tuned. Usually tomorrow with data mines, we'll know. I'll leave a pinned comment once I do know in case you want to check it out, or you might have an update kind of giving us a little bit more intel. But generally, these Galactic Chase events have been fairly generous with all the Sith stuff last year, the TIE Defender, as well as the Marauder. Fairly generous drop rates, much better than marquee events. We'll see if that theme continues. There was one more thing I want to put out here. I mean, besides the fact this is support resistant scoundrel smuggler, I read this and it kind of jumped at me weird. Interpret it as you will. I just thought it was worthy of putting it out here. The Resistance was the only fleet in game with fewer than 5 ships, so this inclusion would be vital moving forward with fleets as a system. Now, this first part doesn't bother me. Yeah, it's one of the few Resistance fleet that's kind of got a lot of weird mishmashy things. And unfortunately, when they added the bomber for the Resistance fleet, it wasn't the same equal treatment as the first order. So I was expecting this, so that part doesn't surprise me. But this part kind of just threw me off a little bit. That this would be vital moving forward with fleets as a system. Now, this has been a heavy speculation for a while. The reasons why we moved crystals out of Squad Arena, why wouldn't they do it for Fleet Arena? And this has been a long theory that they might eventually move the crystals out of Fleet Arena into maybe something like Territories, which of course, kind of controversial, just like moving out of Squad Arena to Grand Arena crystals. So I just want to put it out there that this just kind of read weird. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but again, all the arguments for why we moved from Squad Arena to Grand Arena, the same arguments could apply towards Fleet Arena, Fleet Arena Mafias, and the variety of other arguments that go with it. So I think it's bound to happen, and this just kind of, maybe just made me smell something, a smelly smell. Anyways, let's get on into the kit reveal after that. Reinforcing the Comeuppance provides a dramatic buff to Resistance allies. Yeah, they really do need it, because right now it's just like you just kind of sit there and hold, oh please, I need you to do your thing. Capitalizing when the enemy is exposed can help power the fleet, just like the character side of things. Zorri's exposed as well. We saw in 2023 what Zorri's exposed at the Star Wars Galaxy and the Finn team that we have. So let's get into it. Basic, the IX-4B laser cannons deal physical damage to target enemy. If the Comeuppance has a dramatic entrance, all Resistance allies gain critical chance up, critical damage up for 1 turn, and if the enemy's target lock, you gain dramatic entrance for 1 turn. So now we're kind of bringing a little bit more damage, because really the problem with the Resistance, besides maybe Poe, I guess Rey's got a little bit of damage too. It's just kind of you're a sitting duck. It's just, you sit there, it's like, all right, we hit the ultimate. And even so, sometimes after you hit the ultimate, it can be really hard to work down a Houndstooth that still might be there. We have special one, want to come with me? It's a cooldown of 3. Expose target enemy for 2 turns, which can't be I'm laughing for no particular reason right now. All Resistance allies It's just it's a weird ability name to just shout out of nowhere. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All resistance allies gain foresight for 1 turn. If the target enemy already had exposed, call all resistance allies to assist, and all resistance allies recover 25% protection. So this kind of gives me the similar vibe to Zorri when she does that massive swarm ability. Kind of feels like a similar vein to all this, where you're gonna get everyone to assist. The protection recovery is very nice as well, unlike, you know, she had the cleanse ability and stuff like that. We're not getting that here, but overall this is still a pretty nice ability to have for ships. Remember, ships meta are a little bit more, it's a little bit simpler than the bloated character kits that we have. So, you know, the fleet meta progresses a little bit more slowly, or a lot slowly, I should say, compared to the character side of things. Unique ability number 1, Spies Running Tactics. Comeuppance has plus 30% max health, and I'm just gonna keep moving here. Plus 30% max health and max protection. That's a nice chunk. Again, we don't know what the base stats are, so it could be nothing, could be something. Resistance allies gain 10% turn or whatever they use a basic ability. And okay, this is gonna be important right here. On an enemy with exposed. Whenever resistance allies gain bonus turn meter, while they have less than 100% turn meter, they gain protection up 20% for 1 turn. And this, it's a little bit between the lines. Getting as much turn meter into the resistance as possible means we can get more special abilities hit potentially. Remember, with Holdo, if you have foresight using special abilities, you reduce the cooldowns a lot faster. So if you're getting more turn meter, that means more turns, more opportunities to possibly hit special abilities, and a faster ultimate from Holdo. So I think you got to kind of look between the lines. I think that's something interesting. And then unique 2, I think you're okay. Okay. Artwork, I give 10 out of 10. I'm not too sure about the creativity when it comes to naming these abilities. You know, want to come with me? I think you're okay. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. I'm not even gonna edit this. I was like, should I just redo this? If you know, you know. If you don't know, it's okay. Comeuppance has a 100% counter chance whenever another resistance ally with the Deflector Shield uses a special ability. Comeuppance assists. Whenever a resistant ally attacks on a turn, they gain potency up for 2 turns. Again, helpful for getting exposes, and inflict the target enemy with target lock for 1 turn if they didn't already have it. So getting to counterattacks, again, I believe this would tie in well with this, because if you're using a basic ability, which if you're counterattacking using a basic ability, you hit an enemy with exposed, your resistant allies are going to get 10% turn meter through that unique ability right there. So that's going to be kind of nice. And the Deflector Shield, it's also kind of a nice thing to have with all those constant assists as well. So assisting, the counterattacks, that all should tie into this very well, I believe. And of course, the attack on a turn, the potency up is going to be nice to make sure you try to get as many debuffs out there as possible. And then we have the unique ability right here. Enter the battle. Remove dramatic entrance from all allies, and then all resistance allies gain dramatic entrance for 2 turns. So what I'm guessing this is kind of like renewing the dramatic entrance effect, you know, removing it and then putting it back on once more. And then on top of that, but you're gonna get it's a little bit of an upgrade. It's gonna be an effect that can't be copied, spelled, or prevented, and all enemies are exposed for 1 turn. There we go. So right now, when I'm looking at this fleet, it feels like Zorri should be first reinforcement. You know, that's one of the big considerations. Like TIE Defender doesn't really make as much sense in the starting lineup. It gets a lot more powerful when it's inside the reinforcements. TIE Interceptor, the same thing. This feels like it's going to be mostly a reinforcement type of ship. All enemies are exposed for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resistance. Reduce the cooldowns of all resistance allies with Deflector Shield by 1. So you're seeing how this all ties together. When they hit exposes, these basics, they get turn meter. Zorri is going to be able to counterattack. She's going to be able to assist when allies with Deflector Shield are using special abilities. And on top of that, we're going to be able to reduce cooldowns on resistance allies with Deflector Shield. Again, trying to refresh the special abilities, and then therefore hit more special abilities while you have foresight, reducing Holdo's ultimate ability a little bit faster. So I think, again, this is actually, I think, a very simple kit that's just trying to accomplish the #1 problem with Holdo, is that her ultimate takes way too long, especially the bomber, because the bomber, it doesn't contribute at all. You can't get the foresight to stick on the bomber, and you can't reduce the cooldowns for Holdo. So this is really solving that problem. And in case you need a little bit of a refresher, dramatic entrance, you're going to get 25% offense, deal bonus true damage equal to 10% of the target's max health, which can't be evaded, and then you gain 20% surrender and dramatic entrance for 2 turns if the ship defeats an enemy. So a lot of turn meter, cooldown reductions, exposes, kind of bringing what the Finley does inside of the Resistance fleet in totality. And there you go, you kind of see some of the, you know, the artwork is pretty funny. It's just, I just gotta say, I feel like, yeah, it's a weird unit to start 2024. We were expecting to happen at one point or another. You know, the naming for the abilities, it'll be our little joke, I suppose. So that's gonna wrap it up for today. First unit 2024. Let me know what you guys think. Again, when we're looking at Galaxy of Heroes in totality, it's very obvious the Holdo fleet needs some love. It's a ship, we want it to at least be finalizer-ish. You know, the finalizer, it's kind of a helpful tool to kind of navigate a few fleets out there on the higher end of the spectrum. Redis is your emergency cleanup if the one shot doesn't go through. But again, I just want to say, keep your eyes peeled. When we look at just how the crystal management is in the game with Squadron and going to Grand Arena and Fleet Arena, it seems a little odd that they haven't moved it yet, maybe because the fleet meta hasn't really expanded. But now if they're making sure that every fleet is kind of usable, just like in Grand Arena, almost most teams are usable in a Grand Arena setting, that might set up the stage for crystals moving somewhere else. So who knows? I wouldn't freak out if that's something that's going to bother you, but it's just something I just feel like it's going to happen. And that just kind of moved me in a certain direction. But I'm going to wrap it up right there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you can come with me, because let me tell you, I think you're okay. Thank you for stopping by. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And as always, remember, it's great to be. Okay, sometimes I can act like a 10-year-old, all right? It's great to be in the Empire today. Gary, just play the outro before I get myself in trouble.